Hi everyone, this is Venkat Narayana from Sunya Technologies. Today I am going to discuss for each loop in C Sharp. This is continuation to previous video, part 26, for loop in C Sharp. Please go through previous video before going through this video. What is for each loop? The for each statement executes a statement or a block of statements for each element in an instance of the type that implements the IEnumerable or IEnumerable of T interface. We'll discuss for each loop using Visual Studio, launch Visual Studio and create C# application. For each loop will be used to get the values from collections. Here I will declare array and assign the values to the array. Int arr equal to new int a size 5 and assign the values 2, 4, 7, 1, 4. This is integer array and it stores 5 values. Now if you want to get the values from this array, then we can use for loop or for each loop. Now we will discuss for each loop. For each, here this array contains integer values. Declare integer variable int I in array name. Here array name is arr and print the output console.writeline I. Here this is the syntax for each loop. Here source of data and then in keyword. Here this source contains integer type of data. We need to store output in the integer variable. So here we need to declare the integer variable. Later we print the output. We'll execute this program. Control F5. Here we are getting output as 2, 4, 7, 1, 4. We'll debug this program to understand flow of execution. Put breakpoint here. Go to debug. Click on start debugging or F5. Here array default value is null. Arrays are reference type, so default value is null. And here type is integer type. Here before assigning the value, array is null. F11. Now we'll put cursor on array. Expand this one. Here it contains 5 items. Index starts from 0 and ends at 4. And we have items. F11. Now we need to read the values from the array using for each loop. Here this array contains values. First we need to get 2. 2 is the integer. So here we declared integer variable. F11. We get the first value that I is 2. Then print 2. Here 2. F11. Here second value is 4. So we need to store 4 into this variable. Later print 4. Here 4 printed, like that it will continue. Here 2, 4, 7, 1. Here last item is 4. F11. Now I is equal to 4. Then print the 4. So later we don't have values in this collection. So it will exit from for each loop. Here we don't have items. It will exit from for each loop. Here output is 2, 4, 7, 1, 4. So now we'll discuss one more example. Comment this code. Control K, Control C. Now declare array list. Array list. Here we are getting error like the name array list does not exist in the current context. Array list comes under system.collection namespace. So we need to add that namespace here. We can add manually here. Otherwise put cursor on array list. Control dot. Here Visual Studio recommends system.collections namespace. Click on this one. Here namespace added. Array list AL equal to new array list. Add the data into array list. Here AL dot. We have add function. Here add method takes object as a parameter, but we are passing integer value. System.object is the parent type for all the types in .NET framework. Here we can store integer values into object. Converting from value type to object type is called boxing. I'll add one more integer al dot add of 3, al dot add of add string value like hi, al dot add of 1.23. Here we have array list. Array list contains different types of data like integers, string, double. So we can store different types of data inside array list. Y means if you store any data into array list, the data will be stored in the form of objects. So we can store any type of data inside array list. Now I need to get the data from array list. Here we are using for each loop. So here source of data is AL, that is array list. We'll execute this program. F11, here array list. So here count is equal to 0. It comes under system.collections namespace. F11, now we added 1. Here count is equal to 1. Expand this one. Here 0th index we have 1. F11, now first index 3. F11, here second index high, that is object of string. So previous value is object of integer. F11, we added 1.23, that is third index, and here data is object of double. Now array list contains different types of data. Now we need to read the data using for each loop. F11, here first one is integer. So we are storing integer value into I variable and print the value. It prints the value F11. Now second value is 3. It prints. Now third is high. This is a string. We are storing string value into integer. Here we will get error. This is exception like system.invalidCast exception. Unable to cast object of type system.string to system.in32. Here we are trying to store string value into integer variable. We are getting invalid cast exception. I will stop this execution. We need to fix this error. Here array list contains different types of data, so we can't use integer. So we need to declare where keyword is type inference. This keyword was introduced in C# 3.0 F11. So array list contains different types of data. Here 0th index 1, 3, high 1.23. First we will get first value like 1. So that is object of int. Now where keyword act as a integer. So we print the value F11. Now second one is 3. Now where keyword act as a integer. Here I is object of int. Print. Now third is string. Now where keyword act as a string. Here I, that is object of string, and it will print the value. Here high F11. Now where keyword act as a double. Here object of double, and print the output. Here 1.23. That is the last one. Let it will check any values is there. We don't have any values, so it will exit from for each loop. We can use for each loop to get the values from the collections that implements IEnumerable interface. For example, I will right click on array list class, go to definition. Here array list class implements IEnumerable. I will right click on IEnumerable interface, go to definition. Here IEnumerable contains getEnumerator method. GetEnumerator method return type is IEnumerator. Right click on this one and go to definition. Here IEnumerator interface contains moveNext method and current property. Using moveNext method, for each loop will get the values from collections. If any class implements IEnumerable interface, then we can use for each loop on those classes. So here I will declare array. So right click on array class, go to definition. Here array class implements IEnumerable. So we can use for each loop for array class. Now we will discuss difference between for each loop and for loop. Here I will use for loop for int I equal to 0, I less than array list dot count I plus plus console dot write line array list of I. So here console dot write line for each values. Here console dot write line for loop values. We'll debug this program F11. Here Array list contains values like 1, 2, high, 1.23. Now we need to get the values using for each loop. So for each loop will get from starting to ending. That means it will get all the values from the collection. F11 will get first value. Here I is equal to 1 and print the value. Here 1. Like that it will print all the values. Here 1.23. So here we have values up to 1.23, that is index 3. Later we don't have any values, it will exit from for each loop. That means for each loop will get values from starting to ending without checking any condition. Now we'll check for loop F11. Here we are getting the values from array list using index numbers. Here for int I is equal to 0, 0 less than count. Here count is equal to 4, 0 less than 4, true. Then array list of 0. Array list of 0 is 1. F11. Here prints the 1. F11. Then I is equal to 1. 1 less than 4. Then array list of 1. Here 3 printed. F11. Then I is equal to 2. Then 2 less than 4. Then array list of 2. Array list of 2 is high. Here high printed. F11. Now I is equal to 3. 3 less than 4. Then array list of 3. Later I is equal to 4. 4 less than 4. That is false. Then it will exit from for loop. Here values are 1, 3, high, 1.23. Here we are getting same values using for loop and for each loop. Then what is the difference between these two is, for each loop will get all the values from starting to ending. But if you use the for loop, then we can get the values based on condition. For example, if you want to get only 2 values, we can get only 2 values. If you want to get all the values, we can get the all values. Here I need to print only 2 values. I will mention as a -2. Here control F5. Here it prints only 2 values. But for each loop prints all the values. What we discuss in this program is, for each loop will be used on the classes. Those are implements IEnumerable interface. For each loop will be used to get the values from starting to ending. For loop will be used to get the values based on condition. That's it for today. If you like this video, please share with your friends and subscribe to my YouTube channel for future videos. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.